You are listening to the Bible 126 show.
Find a reason to be here that's bigger than you are.
From the creators of Jesus Revolution.
Something about that little girl. I think I'm supposed to help.
Based on the inspiring true story.
My name is Sharon. I'm good at plenty of things. Taking no for an answer ain't one of them.
Find your purpose. Make a difference.
You want to go on an adventure?
Yeah.
Ordinary Angels. Starring two-time Academy Award winner Hilary Swank and Alan Richson. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters now.
The Antichrist does not die. 4 things about the Antichrist people don't know. There are different things within the scriptures which are written about the Antichrist. For instance, he will claim to be God and will demand to be worshipped. He will blaspheme God. He will display miraculous powers. These are some of the most known things about the Antichrist. But we are going to look at 4 things that most people do not know about him. 1. The Antichrist and the false prophet don't die. Hell and the lake of fire are not the same thing. They are 2 different places. The Bible indicates that death and hell are the temporary destination of the unsaved dead. However, the lake of fire is eternal. According to the Bible, the lake of fire is the second death. Now, what a lot of people don't know about the Antichrist and the false prophet is that they are the first 2 individuals that will be thrown into the lake of fire. Within the Bible, there is no record of the Antichrist or the false prophet being judged. The great white throne judgment occurs in Revelation chapter 20, verses 11 through 15. However, the Antichrist and the false prophet are cast alive into the lake of fire. Revelation chapter 19, verse 20. Then the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These 2 were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. This should show you just how evil the Antichrist and the false prophet are. Every other sinner and unbeliever in human history will face judgment during the great white throne judgment in Revelation chapter 20, verses 11 through 15. But these 2 beings will be cast straight into the lake of fire alive. The Bible explicitly tells us that they are cast into the lake of fire alive. The Antichrist does not die, but rather the beast and the false prophet receive special treatment. They are cast into the lake of fire before the great white throne of judgment holds court. The Antichrist will end in the lake of fire. He will not rule forever. He is just playing his part, just as the devil has ordered him. And when he is done playing his part, he will end in the lake of fire where there is no end. Revelation chapter 19, verse 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. These things about the characteristics of the Antichrist, or what the Antichrist will do, is not something we should just listen to and nod our head like we understand everything. This is a warning from God to us. This is also to remind us that the time that the Antichrist will come is nearer than ever, and we must be prepared. The Antichrist will not come to joke with anyone. He is coming to rule. He is coming to deceive people. He is coming to perform miracles and cause people to stumble, and even then the elect will fall too. This is to warn you. This is to let you know that you need to stay focused and keep looking at Jesus. 2. He will have the power to perform miracles. If there is one way to get the attention of people in the world, it is through miracles. There is something that attracts humans to the supernatural. I mean, look at the most successful TV shows in the last decade. 2 of the most successful TV series over the last 10 years are to do with the supernatural. Game of Thrones and The Leftovers. Both are supernatural in nature. Human beings are fascinated with the supernatural. People are willing to travel the globe in search of the supernatural. And the Antichrist will come with the false prophet, with the power of miracles. The Antichrist will be empowered by the devil to perform miracles just to win people over. The devil has real power. However, his power is nowhere near the power of God. But nevertheless, he is a powerful being that should not be underestimated. After all, he is formally one of God's highest angels and has the power to deceive and to emulate miracles. We see in the book of Exodus the devil energizing Pharaoh's magicians to perform miracles. Exodus chapter 7, verses 8 through 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Even in this story in Exodus, God demonstrated his power over Satan. The Antichrist and the false prophet will have the power to do all different kinds of miracles, and people will believe him and follow him. Many people will follow him and will forget God. Revelation chapter 13, verses 13 and 14. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of these miracles, which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. 3. The Antichrist will be wounded to death, but he will be healed. If we go to the Revelation of John that tells us about the beast from the sea and another one from the land, we see that the beast from the sea had an injury in the head. Revelation chapter 13, verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. 4. The Antichrist will be an instead of Christ rather than opposite. 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. The Bible tells us that he, the Antichrist, will come in the last days to do many things. We ask many questions about who this Antichrist is. We are curious, and we want to know if this Antichrist is in the world already. There is no way to know for sure if he is here already, but we do know that his Spirit is already here, because the Bible tells us in 1 John chapter 4, verse 3, "And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is to come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world." There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding the being that will be called the Antichrist in the book of Revelation. To clear up some of these misconceptions, we need to start with his name, the Antichrist. The word Antichrists means principally against Christ, or secondarily, it means instead of Christ, that is, a substitute. The majority of people focus on the meaning of the opposite Jesus, rather than the meaning instead of Jesus. Because of this, people envision the Antichrist to be the opposite of Christ. Jesus appeared as a lovely, compassionate, good Christ. Therefore, everyone thinks the Antichrist will appear as a supremely evil person. They think that as much as Jesus went around doing good, healing the sick, raising the dead, feeding the 5,000, shepherding the lost, they think the Antichrist will go around doing the opposite. But he won't, at first. People who envision the Antichrist to be the opposite of Christ have the standpoint that while Jesus' character and personality, while he was on this earth, was beautiful and attractive, the Antichrist character and personality will be unpleasant and disgusting. As much as Jesus spoke only truth, the Antichrist will speak only lies. However, this emphasizes the idea of the opposite Jesus too much. The Antichrist will be more of an instead of Jesus.